I have come in AG Haldipurkar's house. So he's an advocate and he is based out in Karwar. तो ये हमको बताइए कुछ चीज़ें कारवार के बारे में. If people come to Karwar, which are the top 5 places or top 10 places which you should not be missing once you come in Karwar. So nice meeting you, Mr. Haldipurkar.
Hi, my name is AG Haldipurkar. I'm an advocate by profession and born and brought up in Karwar. Except for my 3 years education in Harvard, I've spent my entire 50 plus years in Karwar. Karwar is a very beautiful small town. It doesn't have a very long history. It's a district headquarters, but the Britishers in the mid 19th century designed this beautiful place. It's in 1857 or so, they shifted the headquarters. Then which was called as Kendra district, was South Kendra and North Kendra. So the district headquarters which was there in Honavar was shifted to Karwar, and that's how the city of Karwar was born. So we don't have a very long history as such. We'll hardly see any historical places in Karwar town as such. There are places called as Karwar, Sunkeri and all, which were the original, which we can call as the places which were there and which were the trading hub for the Britishers. And even it is said that the Dutch also came here for trading. And basically the spices were traded from this place. And then cotton was also sort of a hub.
What do you call it?
Muslin.
Sorry, yeah.
It is said even that the cotton factories were here, and that is basically because if you have seen the Karwar port, it's said to be one of the safest port in this part of the coast, and that one reason why the Seabird project, said to be the Asia's largest naval-based project, has come up in Karwar. So we have a very beautiful Karwar port, said to be very safe. That place is called as Baitkol. Baitkol, there are different versions as to how this origin of the name of Baitkol came. There were Arabs who traded with people here, and the Arabs, somebody called it as Bahut Khol. Bahut Khol means it's very deep, and that's what is required for the ships to come or anchor. And that is why the name Baitkol has come. So that is one version that goes. And how the name Karwar also has come is also very interesting. There is nowhere you can find Karwar. It is Kone.
Okay.
Kone, that is there.
What do you mean by that?
Kone is called as something, a sort of a corner.
Corner. Right.
It's in Kannada word, if you want to know, last part or the corner of a place.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's how it is. And this Kadwad was the original name of this place. There's a village called as Kadwad, there's a village called as Sunkeri. Sunkeri is Sunkada Keri. Sunka means tax. It was a place for collecting the tax. When the traders came here to do trading or basically business, then there is requirement of tax to be paid to whichever whoever was ruling here, or whoever the Britishers or the Dutch or whoever it was. So they had to pay tax, and Kadwar, then the Britishers were finding it difficult because that it's not possible to pronounce, so it became Karwar, and it's a very planned city. Now, when we call any place as planned city, we just remember places like Chandigarh,
Hugely planned, yeah.
Beautifully planned place. So, like that, Karwar, if you walk inside Karwar city, you will find 3 parallel roads. One was then called as Jail Road, and my house is where we are sitting now is very much on the Jail Road, and now it is called as MG Road, Mahatma Gandhi Road. And because at the end of this road is a district jail, it's a very British period jail. And then there is one street called as Green Street, parallel to this Jail Road. So there are 3 parallel roads. One is the MG Road, the next is Green Street, and next is the main road. So
that's highway you're talking about?
Highway was not there earlier. This was called as Azad Maidan Ground. There's a Karwar municipality garden, which was earlier called as Azad Maidan Ground. So in 1947, when India got independence, the flag was hoisted on this particular ground, Azad Maidan Ground. So historically, it has got some more importance. Now it is called as Mahatma Gandhi Udyanavana, Mahatma Gandhi Garden, because there is Mahatma Gandhi statue. And the reason for that is because Mahatma Gandhi visited this place in 1934. Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, took a tour in 1933-34. And toured all over India and visited Karwar. He happens to come from Kundapur. He from a ship called as Dayavati. He comes on a ship which comes from Kundapur to Karwar, and he arrives here on 27th February 1934. And one night he stays in Karwar, and he stays in our house, but not in this house, but we have an ancestral house, and he stays in that ancestral house.
That's a big moment.
It's a very big moment.
Father of nation.
We hosted Mahatma Gandhi, and on 28th February 1934, Gandhiji addresses people of Karwar, and it is people have this particular notion that it was basically for something to do with freedom struggle, or but no, it was not that. He came basically for touring all over India. For it was called as Harijan tour. It was called as Harijan Yatra. So to collect funds for the Harijan movement, and also there was an earthquake in Bihar in 1930-31. So he wanted to collect funds for us. He was a Gandhiji. Apart from what we know, Gandhiji as a freedom fighter or the person who brought independence to this nation. But apart from that, he was a great social reformer. His contribution towards all these things which now today we have so much relevancy, just like Grama Swaraj or Swadeshi, what we talk of, then the untouchability and all these things. He said that India lives in villages. And you know now how important it is. So Karwar is known for these two important personalities. One is that Gandhiji came here to Karwar, and another is Rabindranath Tagore. Karwar beach is now called as Rabindranath Tagore. Many people don't know why it is so.
Yeah.
So Karwar is known for the beach, the beautiful beach we have, and I have also traveled across India and also abroad. Many people who have traveled have also told me that the Karwar beach is one of the finest. If you presently go and see the beach, you may say that no, this is not true because it's a bit dirty. And maybe then we have to blame ourselves because we have not kept it very clean. That apart, but it's a very beautiful beach, a long stretch, and Rabindranath Tagore's eldest brother, Satyendranath Tagore, the first Indian to get through the ICS. That's the Indian Civil Service. He was the first Indian, and he topped the list also among the Indians and the British. And then he comes here and serves as a district judge. That was in 1881 to 1884. So that's Rabindranath Tagore is 22 years old then. He comes to Karwar in 1882 and stays with his brother Satyendranath Tagore. And it is said that he has drawn inspiration from this beautiful place, the beautiful nature that we have. And he wrote his first drama, which is in poetic form and drawing inspiration from Karwar, which is called as Prakriti Pratishodha. It's in Bengali, also translated in English now. And so Rabindranath Tagore walks across the Karwar beach and then goes on the Kali river on an what you call a small ship sort of a thing, and it's an full moon day, and just sails through the Kali river. It is said that whatever Rabindranath Tagore is first Nobel laureate in literature from Asia, such a big name, and if he has drawn inspiration from this beautiful place, then I'd not say about the natural beauty that we have of this place. So that's how Karwar is known, for these two important personalities, Rabindranath Tagore and Mahatma Gandhi. If you want me to say something about 5 important places that one should visit if you are in Karwar, then I should first say that it's the Karwar beach. The next place is another beach place called as Devbagh. Devbagh is the place where the Kali river meets the Arabian Sea, and it's an estuary. So there's a very beautiful beach there and a resort now. So Devbagh, and also there is a beach called as Majali beach. This is across the Kali river. How beautiful the whole configuration is. Karwar is a small place which is surrounded by river on the one side, the Arabian Sea on the other side, and the Sahyadri mountains on the eastern side. And then we have Sunkeri, we have Kadwar. These are also the places of historical importance also. It's where the places from where the trading was happening. And a place called as Gudde Haldi, which is a hamlet. Haldi means a village, and Gudde is mountain. It's a small mountain. Its height is said to be 1,800 feet, 5 kilometers. Once upon a time, you had to literally climb the place, but now it is said that the road is motorable, so you can even take your bike, vehicles, and go from that particular point, from about 1,800 to around 2,000 feet. You can see the entire place. The one side you can see the highway runs, National Highway 66 runs, and the western side of that, Seabird project is there. Of course, it's in prohibited area, so you can't do photography and all, but you can go and see there. And there is a village there. We have a Kaiga nuclear power station here, around 50-60 kilometers east of Karwar. Mallapur is the township there, and so a lot of land has been acquired here. So the villagers have lost their land. Rice was grown here, and also sugar canes. In places like Amdalli and this Sunkeri, Kadwad and all, we have vegetables now grown, and except for that, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. So Karwar is a place, it's a very sleepy town. Not a single industry is there except for one in Binga, Balapu Industries, and now it is Aditya Birla. So they are into caustic soda. So except for that, no manufacturing industry. So we have a very clean air here, and if you are looking for a place where you can breathe very comfortably and with 100% what do you call oxygen, then that's Karwar, I can say. But because of that, there are no industries here, there are no job opportunities here, so the migration has taken place. Those who are graduated in Karwar, they have migrated to different places like Bombay, Bangalore, nowadays Bangalore and all. So we don't have the earlier families, the prominent families of Karwar, because their children could not, for obvious reasons, they had to go out. I was talking about the places to visit, and I can tell you another place that's of interest is a place called as Devgarh, where we have a lighthouse. It's mentioned as Oyster Rock because oysters are there, a lot of oysters are there. Karwar is known for these oysters, if you know, if you are very familiar with
Kalwa
shell fish, if I can call. So there is a place which is very popular for all these things because we have sea and we have a river also. So you get very good river fish, and also Karwar mackerel, that is Bhangra, is said to be the best in the world. They claim, I don't know.
What do you think?
Yes, if you ask me, because we are all fish eaters and the best, the finest. There we get certain fish which are very, because those type of fish we can get only where the salt water and there's a mixture of sweet water, where the river meets the sea.
So I had a quick question for you actually. I'm sorry to pause you there, but so you just spoke about Guddehalli. So I just want to know if I would want to go there and I want to stay overnight over there. Can we stay there?
Yeah, of course. You can really stay the way in which those people, those villagers, they are from a community called as Gaudas. One of the most, we can call humble and very honest, very hardworking community. It's a place habitated by those particular community. If you ask me honestly, then one should go and stay at such places. You can really enjoy the true village life, their kind of food, what they normally have. There are 3 islands here. One is called as Devgarh, then the second island is called as Madlingad. And Madlingad, because it's in the middle, there is no habitation there, nothing is there, absolutely nothing is there, nobody goes there also. But there is another island which is called as Kurumgad, because it is, you take a picture or if you look at it, has an sort of an, Kurum is basically tortoise. So it has a shape of the tortoise. So that's how it is. Kurumgad, Madlingad and Devgarh. These are the 3 islands. Now Kurumgad is a private island. It's a private island and there is an resort there. It's one of its kind in India, very, very expensive. So otherwise you can't go there also.
Jatra happens then every year?
Jatra happens every year in the month of January, which is called as Narsim Jatra.
Correct.
So actually the Narsim Jatra, the story is something like this, that there is a temple in Devbhag, also Narsim temple is there. So there also Jatra happens, and after the 4 days of this Narsim Jatra in Devbhag, then after 4 days Kurumgad Jatra takes place. And Narsim Murthy is taken from a person house from Kadwad. On a small ship it is taken to Kurumgad, and there is no temple in Kurumgad permanently. Only during Jatra, for a night it is taken there, and one night the Jatra is there. So everyone is allowed to go, and nowadays some mishap happened some couple of years back. So after that the government is regulating the Jatra.
Alright, Mr. Augusta, nice meeting you.
Thank you.
So can you just talk through about like few places which we have in Karwar? So one question to you is that we have a god which is like Sadashiv God. So do you want to say that why and how it was named Sadashiv God? Or some history behind it?
Well, Sadashivgarh Fort, what we call as Sadashivgarh Fort or Gad, comes from the Dingas fort. So it was named after one of the Sondar Rajas called Sadashiv. It was built in 1717 after destroying the fort which was there at Kadwad. Basically it was done to protect the Kadwad port from the enemies who enter via from the sea through the Kali river. So Sadashiv, son Madhulinga, he built 2 watch towers, you can say. Actually it's a tower as such, not as a fort, because there was no king living in that or as such, but it was only for protecting the port. So they had a small one at Kurumgad, which already we have spoken about, and this was the main one. He named it Sadashiv since his father's name was Sadashiv. So Sadashiv Raya or Sadashiv Nayaka, as we call them, it was named after him. Now, coming to Karwar, what was, I think, already spoken about Karwar, but what was the importance of Karwar? Karwar was a place of trade, or you can say it was a place where the Britishers had set up in 1638 something called as a factory. They used to call it a factory, which was directly under Surat. And they used to trade pepper, muslin to England from this place. One of the major imports were horses, then of course wines and few other things which they used to get from England through this port. So that was a very important place to them. That is how they set up this place, Karwar. And from there, you can say about 200 years later, 1862, this place was set up, that is Karwar, which was set up as the headquarters of the British when they divided this Canara. It was Canara earlier with headquarters at Mangalore, and they made it into North Canara and South Canara and set up headquarters at Karwar. That was in 1862. Now coming to even prior to that, if we go to history, we're speaking about Anjadev Island, which is now under the possession of the Navy. So the Anjadev Island was the first place where Vasco da Gama came and landed when he was en route from Kerala to Goa. So it was there that he came. He came actually to refuel his ships. So then he stayed there for some time, came towards Bidga. He came to the land, but there were Arabs staying in Bidga. So he got a little scared and he withdrew from there. And then, of course, he went to Goa. And after that, Alfonso Albuquerque came, 1510. He came down with 5 priests and they settled down there. And that is where exactly Christianity began in the West Coast, not in Goa. It started there. And they built a church called as the Our Lady of Brothas. Brothas means the spring. So they set up that church there. And that is where they were there till 1961 during time of liberation. That was the last post that the Portuguese gave away. And in the whole liberation war, that was the only place where they fought, not in main Goa. It was here only they fought. There were about 5 soldiers, Portuguese soldiers there who fought. One, then they lost. Then this swam came across to Bidga and he was arrested here. And then there were a lot of their assets there on the island, which was taken over by the DC of Karwar, and that is how the history. But that is where you can say the Portuguese rule as such began even in Goa. So Goa was not the main, it was Anjadev. It was always Anjadev.
I had one quick question, sorry for that.
Yes.
You just spoke about Portugal, right? Like Portugal's, like Goans, they have like a nationality of Portugal, or else like they will get visa soon. How come then Karwar, they don't have that opportunity or
it is for a person,
preference?
It is for a person who is born prior to 1961. Either the parent or the person has to be born prior to 1961. Only they are eligible for the Portuguese passport. It is not for Karwaris. Then the second important place here is the Sunkeri Church. This was built again in 1717 by a few Carmelite priests who migrated from Goa. One of the main churches here is Sunkeri Church, called Immaculate Conception Church, which was built in 1717. This was built by a few Carmelite priests who left Goa and came down here. Now, why did they come here? Is because, according to their records, they had a tussle with the Portuguese government. So they were not ready to agree to certain terms and conditions of the government there, and so they were kind of, you can say, sent away from their province. So they came and took shelter here. The Britishers offered them place here. They said, you build a church here. And 1717 they built a church, a small church, a thatched church, and that is where the Christians of Sunkeri were given church services there. So this continued till 1784. This church was there till 1784 when Tipu attacked the entire coastal belt, especially because he thought that the Christians were siding with the British in the second Mysore Anglo War. So he thought that the Christians had sided with the British, and so he wanted to take revenge. So we have a celebration called Ash Wednesday, that is 40 days before Good Friday. On Ash Wednesday, at a particular time, he had given instruction to all his, right from Mangalore till Karwar, he had given instructions to his chiefs. At the first azan in the morning, you will attack all the churches. And so records say about 80,000 Christians were taken on foot from Sunkeri till, means Christians living from Sunkeri till Mangalore were taken via Beltangadi that way to Srirangapatnam. So many died on the way. Only the sick, who were very sick and very old, were left back. Rest all were just taken away. Some accounts say about 50,000, whatever it is, so 80,000 or 50,000. Tipu's account himself says 30,000. So that many were taken. They were taken there, and 15 years they were in Srirangapatna. They were kept there. Some tried to escape, they were killed. So it was till 1799. On 4th May 1799, Tipu died in the war. At that time, all those who remained, they came back with only 10,000. So they came down, and that time we had the Keladi dynasty here in most of the South Canara. They gave place, because all the places were lost. People had a lot of land, everything was lost. So they had nothing to come back and live on. So the Keladi Nayaks, they gave place. They said, you build your, make your farms. And another account says that at that time in Uttar Kannada or North Canara, Ankola was the biggest Christianity place. There were 10,000 Christians there alone. Today hardly you will find about, I think, 1,000 or 2,000. Now I'm speaking about almost 300 years later. So that was the impact of Tipu. And he raised down the Sunkeri church, all the churches, like it was Sunkeri was one, Honavar was another church which was attacked. So many churches on the way. And there is an interesting anecdote I would like to add here. There was a small church at something called Baleguli. You know this Baleguli cross, right? Ankola. Yes. There was one small church there, and there was one old lady who used to live in, take care of that church and all that. Only that church was left because she used to, I think, give some kind of medicine for paralysis or whatever, she used to take care. And she had treated Tipu's some relative or mother or somebody. And he, out of gratitude for that, he didn't destroy that church. It was only small church which was left. Rest all he had destroyed. And after they came back, so this Sunkeri church was totally razed to the ground. There was nothing left there, not even stones. After coming back in 1799, it was again they came back, they rebuilt and settled up there. By the time of course, the East India Company had stopped operations there. That is a long history. It will take time if I keep on telling about what happened there and all those things. So we have to read certain books for that. So after that, it was rebuilt, and there was one Father Francis Xavier who has written down this history. Unfortunately, when they were renovating that church somewhere in the early 90s, they have destroyed all those whatever history was there. But a few books are still there. The old records. We went and saw it about, I think, 5-6 months back. 1717, even baptism records are still maintained in that church. So he has written a lot of history, and he used to stay there. And earlier what has happened, like how will you finance the church? So they had a field where people would cultivate and give the revenue back to the church. That's how this area called Padri Bagh has come. That's why the name of Padri Bagh. So that is how all those people settled down in Bard and all that. Then the other one is, I think, there just below the Sadashigad fort, there is the Dargah. You would have visited that. The Sufi saint of the time of Adil Shah. So he had come, he had stayed here. He's supposed to have miraculous powers, and a lot of people, good happened out of it. And then after he died, he was buried there. So his tomb is still there. So every year they have the Urus, and people from all faith, irrespective of whether they are Hindus, Muslims, Christians, they go there, they take part in the festivities, they put the chadar, and communal harmony can be seen there, especially in that place in Sadashigad, because you have the Durga Devi temple in the fort, right down you have the Dargah, and little might be a kilometer, not even a kilometer away, you have the St. Joseph Church. So all are living in peace and brotherhood.
Okay, Mr. Augustine, nice to hear from you, and thank you so much, Mr. Haldipurkar.